Okay, go ahead.
Hello. Are we all ready?
I don't know, but go ahead. Keep going. You're on.
Okay. Hello. It is your lifestyle expert, and we're ready to cook in the kitchen. We are making something special today, and I'm so excited because it worked. You know, we have the fabulous dishes that comes across our timeline on Facebook, and they're better known, or there's different companies that do them, but there is one in particular, and it's called the Delish Recipes. And I have always been curious about the reality of these particular recipes, so I thought I would try them. And I would try it along with you guys so that you knew if it would work in the case that you would like to cook something great in the kitchen. Now, these come across our lines all day. So I'm only picking one in particular. And today's, it's going to be stuffed chicken! Yay! But before we get started, you know, every week I love to share in the experience as a lifestyle expert. It's not only important that I teach you guys about making things easy at home, in particular today, cooking, but I also talk about people who have made an impact in my life or have encouraged me in some way or another. Yesterday, I had a fabulous photo shoot. And, you know, when you're branding, you're always looking for an opportunity to create something fabulous in front of the camera. So, as you know, or as you don't know, I got the privilege to work with a fabulous photographer. Now, she's a diva friend of mine, so I've known her work for a while. But to work one-on-one with her was way beyond my own expectations. Her name is Alethea, and she is the owner of oh my goodness, Mace. Oh my goodness, I can't believe the name that slipped my mind that quick.
AJ Photography.
AJ Photography, and he just had to remind me. You know how I am with these names. She is really a memory maker. That's her slogan. That's what she stands for, and I am a true believer. If you guys don't know much about her, look her up. I'm sure you've seen her on Facebook, taking care of other fabulous people, but I would highly recommend using her services. Again, they're called J&A Photography. And from my understanding, she has a website, and I look forward to using some of her services in the near future, as we have our workshop next week. Yay! I'm sorry, you guys who missed out on the workshop. It is next Sunday, and we have a full house. And I'm always excited about that. I never take it for granted that people are sharing the experience with me to bring social home again. So for those of you that are just now joining me, again, my name is Rita Fuller-Yates, and I am a lifestyle expert, and it's my mission to help people bring social home again. And what that means is we need to open our doors. We need to open our hearts and our minds and our souls and allow people to come in. And it really gets and allows people to understand the value of hosting and entertainment at home. So I don't want to continue to talk. You know, I can ramble on and on and on. So I want to get started on our recipe today. I'm making stuffed chicken. I don't take for granted that you guys are spending your Sunday evenings with me. So please tag and share. Again, I am not a chef, but I am a lifestyle expert by way of being an interior designer, because it's important to teach you, for me, to teach you guys the importance of opening our doors up for other people. So one way of doing that is sharing in the experience of making great food, right? I'm so excited to do this one today because, as y'all know, I do it a little in premature of the video because to save time and so that you guys can see a live reality of the end result of the product. So again, we're making stuffed chicken. So you're going to start out, I'm going to make a couple of pieces. If you are entertaining in your home, you can always slice these as I'll show you in the end. But what I recommend is this is really a meal for maybe a couple's dinner. Maybe you've got a couple of friends coming over and you want to make something fabulous, but you don't have a lot of time. This literally took 25 minutes like the video suggests. Now, I don't want to take as if this is my recipe. You guys know I'm a very honest lifestyle expert. So I want to first share with you the actual video that I got this from so that you can see it in its totality. And then we'll switch back over so that I can show you guys the true reality of how to make it and how I made it and was successful at it. See you in a second.
I think somebody's counting their chickens. Chicken surprise.
Okay, did you like that? Did you like the stuffed chicken? Okay, let me put some spaghetti in here because that's what we're going to pair it with. So let me get started. It's really easy is what I found out. It doesn't take a lot of time, and literally you can do this in about a half hour. But what I suggest you start with is your chicken breast. Now what I learned in the process was you really need to make sure that your chicken breast has some seasoning on it. So I'm going to put a little bit of salt and pepper. Unlike the video, they told us to put it on there once you have it stuffed. But I suggest you put it on there before you start stuffing it. You're going to put a little bit of seasoned salt as well as some chicken seasoning. And I suggest putting it on both sides, but just to save time, I already put it on the other side. And then I put, of course, a little bit of garlic salt. I'm a garlic person. As I talk to you guys every week, I always share with you the best thing about cooking at home is you can make it your own, right? So, now what I also learned in this process of making the stuffed chicken is that it's best to use a bigger piece of chicken. But I don't suggest using a very thick piece of chicken. The reason being is that it becomes challenging knowing how cooking it. Once you bake it, you don't want the cheese to overcook. So I suggest you using a fairly thin piece of breast of chicken versus the very thick pieces of chicken because of the baking. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is, considering this is a normal size of chicken breast, I'm going to make about 3 slats. I should say cuts. We'll just say cuts. You know, my vocab sometimes is challenged. Now you're going to make it almost all the way through, but not, don't cut it all the way through. And I would also suggest cutting it at a little angle. Now for this size of a piece of chicken, I would only do 2, because at that point you don't want it too bulked with vegetables. And then on the other piece, this is a bigger piece of chicken breast. So I'm going to suggest cutting that more than twice. So I'm going to do it there. Then I'm going to do a little bit in the middle. Then I'll slant it a little bit at the end. Now, even though that has a little tail on the end, it'll still be okay, because once you put the veggies in there, that sort of holds it together. Okay? I'm going to suggest, they suggest using fresh Parmesan shredded. I'm going to use real Parmesan. And you're just going to stick it down in there. And that's going to help make it stick together. I buy these pre-cut, so they're already in the perfect size. Now during this time I'm pairing it with some spaghetti. So I suggest you go ahead and get your spaghetti boiled. And you don't really need to add much seasoning to your spaghetti because all of the seasoning is in your chicken. Once you go ahead and do that, I'm also going to add a little bit of gravy on top just to make sure that it adds a little bit of juice. I like juicy stuff. I don't like dry stuff. So once you put the cheese in there, I suggest again using the cheese first because that's what's going to allow for it to melt. And then we're going to add some extra cheese in the end. I'm going to put a little bit of yellow pepper. You can use whatever type of pepper you prefer. I've got a combination of some yellow pepper as well as an orange pepper. As you know, different peppers create a different taste. Some are sweeter than others. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. It's pretty easy. And it really tastes good. Isn't that the goal? So your guests will walk away not only full, but you can give them these recipes to use when they entertain. Now this is a piece of zucchini. What I suggest is to make it small because what begins to happen is your little slant that you created in the chicken begins getting a little small. So it's not that much room. So again, I did this prematurely in hope that everything was going to work out. And it actually did. And it is fabulous, you guys. I'm so happy it turned out the way it did. Now I'm going to also I'm putting in the rest of the zucchini. I hope you guys are sharing my video. You know that button. That button is that little button on the left. And it says share. Please share my video. I'm just a little old girl from Longstreet. And I would really appreciate the help. And they said, if whatever you desire, just ask. So I'm asking you guys to just share, okay? It doesn't require you to pay for anything. Now the last thing I'm going to do is add in the tomato. That's going to allow for it to remain really juicy. As you guys know, every week when we come on here, you're allowed to ask questions. So please do so. And then for those of you that may be great cooks, you might not want to watch this. But I guarantee you at 7:30, we have a fabulous show that my hubby and I are doing. And it's called Cream in My Coffee. I'll let you guys figure out why. And it will help you guys fix things around the home and make the experience for hosting an entertainment just a little bit easier. I tell you guys, we've got to be able to open our doors and our hearts up. That's where it all begins, right? Okay. So we pretty much stuffed it. If you can see here, one of these days we're going to be able to get one of those cameras that they have on the HGTV and it sits above the food and you'll be able to see everything as I do it. But for now, this will have to do. And then what I suggest you do is, again, this isn't a part of the video, but I have learned what it is that I like, is I drizzle on a little bit of Italian dressing on there. And that allows for it to be nice and juicy. And we're just drizzling. And then in the end, I'm getting ready to put it in the oven. And you'll use a spatula because, of course, just think about it. It's going to start breaking apart if you don't. because you really sliced into it so that you can create those little slants, right? So we're going to put that in. And then the last thing that we will use is I'll add some more crumbled cheese. Well, I should say the next to last thing that we'll use. Let me move this so that you guys can see what I'm doing. Are we doing okay, Sean?
Good.
Okay, do we have any questions?
No questions this
So
way.
this is pretty easy, huh? Now this, I liked it better when I tasted it versus just scrambling it all up in one pan. Because of course that could be an option. You could just saute everything and combine it. But then it becomes more like a stir fry. This actually allows for the vegetables to sit in the meat, and although the meat becomes very juicy, it mixes in with the vegetables, and it is fabulous. That sound like Oprah? Fabulous! I gotta laugh all by myself, because remember last week I told you guys that my husband normally allows me to see all of this activity so I can see you guys. Give me some thumbs up. It doesn't cost anything. I know you guys do this all the time to people that are famous. I'm not famous, but I'm really trying to push my mission, right? And I can only do this if you guys help me out. I just need a little bit of love. Mwah. So is anybody on there that I need to give a shout out to? Memory maker, did she join
Stephanie
us?
Reed, Jennifer Noble.
Hey, Jennifer Noble. Thanks for joining me. And Stephanie Reed.
Yeah, Tammy McGill.
Hey, Tammy McGill.
Teresa Harris.
Teresa Harris. So again, Teresa, my other mother, you guys have to understand that I normally get to see the names, and that's what allows for me to recognize you guys. But we're trying a new technique because he's switching cameras and doing all that technical stuff that I sort of stay in my lane. I'm the cooker and the entertainer and, sort of the personality around here. And he is all in, he does all of the back ends. Thank you, Mom, for joining me. I'm just adding a little more Italian seasoning on top.
Luis Lopez. Albert Brown.
Hi, Luis Lopez. Thank you for joining. Okay.
Nikki Bishop.
Oh, Nick.
Karen Cook.
Thanks, Nick. Now, Nick, don't be judging me. Nikki is, for those of you, well, I won't even say much because some people are just a little bit humbled with their stuff, but she's a cook within herself. Thanks for joining me, Boo.
Christina
I
Wilson.
appreciate you. I know everyone doesn't enjoy being seen or on the camera, and I won't, say much. Okay, so the last thing we're going to use is a little bit of olive oil. And we're just going to drizzle that on top there. Now, as y'all know, I cooked this a little premature. So I like it already done so that you guys can see it. And then I would suggest pairing it with some spaghetti. And once you pair it with the spaghetti, I would add a little bit of gravy as well. Now for my family, we are big onion and portobello mushroom people. So I am going to add a little bit of portobello and onion on top, just for a little bit of more variety. You guys don't have to do this, and the video did not say this, but I like portobello. And guess what? Voila, baby! It's all finished! Now I'm about to show you the end result and what yours should look like, okay? Boop, boop, boop.
Okay, you're on this one.
Woo-hoo! That turns out fabulous! Fabulous! Okay, you guys ready for this? Oh my goodness, I am so excited. So I'm going to switch back over here so that you guys can see it. You want to come up and lift this up, Mr. Yates? So that you guys can see the way this ends up looking. All of the vegetables sort of pop up. But they cook inside. You see that? I'm so excited the way it looks. And let me cut into it so you can see that I'm not BSing you. The way that looks. The chicken is nice and juicy. It is completed. And oh my goodness, right? And it only literally, like it said, 25 minutes. I cook it for about a half hour, and it really is what the video says it is. So in some cases, and I'll do this probably once every couple of months, I'll pull a recipe out from one of the timelines, on my timeline, and I'll share with you guys the reality of how easy it was. And this really does work the way that the video says it should work, right? Sometimes we're just fooled all the time. Oh, that's that extra cheese that I just happen to love. Now, as I said before, I'm going to pair this with some spaghetti, and I'll put one of these pieces of chicken on top of the spaghetti, and then I'm going to drizzle just a little bit of chicken gravy on top, just to add a little more flavor and juice. Now that today is all that I have for you, but that is plenty enough for you guys to open your doors so that you can entertain with your friends and family. I suggest maybe a couple that you haven't invited over in a while. Invite them over. Fix the stuffed chicken. They will be amazed. Share the recipe if you're uncomfortable with knowing what it is that you could be saying when they're visiting. But I would love, love, love for you guys to continue to support my mission, bringing social home again. So please tag and share, tag and share. Hey! This concludes our program for today. As I said before, about 7:30, it gives us about an hour. My husband and I will be coming on, and we're going to talk about the efficiencies of light bulbs. I think that's something. Lighting? Okay. I don't know, but I'll be there to help you guys through the process, okay? So please continue to support me as well as him. He was so nervous a couple of weeks ago, but you guys showed him so much love. And I'm so proud of you guys. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you. My name is Rita Fuller-Yates, and I'm your lifestyle expert. And I'll see you next time.